Here, come to this one. You want to get in this one? Okay. Do you want me to hold your apple?
No.
Okay. That's a good day, huh? Apple and a monkey and a swing. My name is Brenna Huckaby. I'm a 2-time Paralympic gold medalist snowboarder. This is Double Duty. I grew up in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and I have 2 older brothers, and we grew up just constantly being outdoors. We would climb trees, we would just go run in the woods, ride our bikes. Like any time that I could be outside, I was. We had this big magnolia tree growing up in our front yard. My brothers would always climb to like the tippity top. You know, they would always be like, you can't do this because you're a little sister. I'm 5 years younger than my oldest brother. I remember finally getting to the top of that tree and just being like, sticking my tongue out and being like, who can't do this? Like, sorry that you couldn't climb this when you were my age, but I can. I wanted to be just like them. I wanted to be just like my older brother. Anything he did, I wanted to do, but better. And I think they pushed me, you know, as a person and in sport because of that. It was never like a conversation that I had as a child, like, oh, I want to do this sport or I want to do that sport. My parents did karate, and so I did karate with them when I was younger, and I just loved the gymnastics aspect of karate. One of the instructors one day, I don't know, like 7, and he showed me this gymnastics move, and I did it immediately. And from that instance, I was hooked on gymnastics. And my parents at that time didn't put me into gymnastics. They didn't know enough about it yet. But what happened is I took that skill that I had learned at karate and I practiced it at like school at recess, or like anytime, so my brother played soccer, so anytime I was at a soccer game with my brother, I would do gymnastics on the sidelines. And my mom and dad were like, you can't do this. Like, you're gonna hurt yourself like severely. They're like, if you're gonna do gymnastics, you need to be trained. Well, I still didn't know at the time whether or not like I was gonna be formally trained in gymnastics. So I would sneak it in the playgrounds, and my brothers would tell on me. They'd be like, Mom, Dad, she's doing backflips again. Like, you need to get her in gymnastics. So when I was about 8 years old, they put me into gymnastics, where I fell in love with the sport. I wanted to see how far I could go. I started competing immediately, moved up through the ranks, and yeah, a college scholarship was my dream and my goal, and I was well on my way to that. There's lava.
Yeah, it's lava in this game.
What? So my oldest is Lila. She's 5. She's a snowboarder, like through and through. She's a little more nervous and scared than I was as a kid, so that's a learning experience for me. But on a snowboard, she's fearless, and that scares me. Like, I am having to learn how to like just just let her go and do her thing because I just want to keep her in a bubble. She's brilliant. I mean, every parent thinks that, but I'm like, my kid is so smart, I think, and she's so awesome. She's just awesome. And then my youngest is Sloan, and she will be 2 in January. And she is me, like fearless. She's like, oh, we're at a swimming pool. Oh, I can jump in the water. I don't know how to swim, but here I go. And it is so scary. We got her on a snowboard this year to like see if she would like it. And she doesn't like being cold. So that'll be very interesting this year to see how she handles being outside in the cold a lot more. I love my girls. The whole reason that I am on social media is that I can challenge our views of people with disabilities. I can challenge our views of athletes. Like, I am here to have conversations. And a lot of the times what I've noticed on my page, it's not always the most comfortable things that I talk about. Like, I bring up things that it's like, hey, we've been doing it this way, but I think it's time, like it's worked from here, but it's time to move on and progress. And it's uncomfortable because we're like, well, I only knew it this way. I'm about to hit you with some truth, so sit down because it might hurt. If you listen to everyone's opinions about you, you are never going to be successful. And here's why. I am a Paralympic snowboarder from Louisiana. So if you know anything about basic geography, you know in Louisiana, we don't have mountains or snow, we have alligators and a whole lot of cancer. Why is this important? Why is this relevant? Because when I told everyone and their mom that I was gonna become a Paralympic snowboarder, they laughed and were like, okay, yeah, we'll believe it when we see it. A year after telling everybody that I was going to move, and they were like, okay, sure, I did it. I moved. I dedicated all my time, all my energy into becoming this person that I wanted to become. And had I had listened to all of these people that were telling me, no baby, this ain't it, I would not be here making this TikTok on how to become successful, period. So whatever your goal is, no matter how big, no matter how small, if you want it, you have a dream, you have a path, go get it. Because you're the only person that knows what's going on inside of you. And you're the only person that knows what you can achieve. It's been really cool to see how people have been like, wow, like I never thought of it that way. Or like, I'm really excited to change and challenge the narrative and the stigma around disability and young parents and body positivity, literally everything. And so that's why I show up online, is so that I can have these conversations. Okay guys, I'm ready to get real with you. How I actually lost my life. When I was 13, I started having knee pain when I was training and doing gymnastics. My mom took me to the doctor and we didn't see anything on the x-ray. So we were told, do physical therapy and then, you know, it should get better. There's no injury here, so we can't fix it. Unfortunately, I didn't grow up with a ton of money, so physical therapy wasn't really an option. So we were like, okay, well, we'll just strengthen it in the gymnastics gym and watch it and see how it feels. I would eat a lot of ibuprofen at the time because it only hurt sometimes. That's the thing that made it really unique. It only hurt on vault, which is like the running event. And I hated vault. So there were, you know, thoughts that maybe it was a mental block. Like I didn't want to do vault, so my knee hurt. Over the course of a year, it got progressively worse. I would fatigue, my legs would fatigue a lot quicker than they used to, and I would be at a competition and in training, I would just blow everybody away. But when it was time to compete, because of the fatigue, I would like, you know, choke. And that's what people had thought. They were like, oh, well, she's at a higher level now. This is the time when people usually retire from sport because they can't keep up mentally. And that never sat right with me because like I knew that like I could do this. Like I wasn't scared. I wasn't, you know, shying away from competition. Like I knew I could go out there and crush it, but something was physically holding me back. And after my competition season, my last season, I went on a 3-mile run with my brother, my oldest brother. And when I came home, I was unable to walk. I was in the most intense pain I had been in through the entire year. And my mom was like, something is wrong, like we need to get to the bottom of this. So that was on a Friday. That next Monday, I was in the doctor's office where they found the tumor. And the only way to cure yourself of bone cancer, and this specific one, is chemotherapy and surgery. So we knew when I had that diagnosis that my sports career in gymnastics was over, whether that was through an amputation or saving my limb and just having like a massive surgery. Unfortunately, the way that my cancer went, amputation was my only option, and I lost my leg 3 months into treatment. It never really hit me that the life that I was holding on to didn't exist anymore until after I finished treatment, which was several months after my amputation. Everything that I had been working on just wasn't. And I had to do a lot of soul searching. It was really hard during that time of like, what the heck am I gonna do with my life? You know, I'm 15 now, and at one point, you know, everything, all the doors were open, and now it feels like not a single one is. And like, what the heck am I supposed to do? So after I lost my leg from cancer, I was in like a super deep, dark place. Sports was my outlet in life. It was what pushed me through. It got me through school. It got me through bullying. It got me through insecurities, and everything that I dealt with, sports was always there for me. And after my amputation, not having that was really, really hard. And my brothers and my parents, after like 3 or 4 months of sitting on the couch, not wearing my prosthetic, not wanting to like live anymore, they sat me down and they were like, Brenna, like something needs to change. Like every time that you were lying on this couch, cancer is still winning. Like it's time for you to get up and freaking beat this thing. We decided like sports was my outlet before, why can't sports be my outlet now? So I had tried many different sports at this time, but the main focus was just getting strong enough to be able to, if a sport were to come up, do it. 6 months after this, I was invited on a rehabilitation ski trip where I had learned to snowboard, and they didn't want me to snowboard because as an above the knee amputee, your risk of injury is significantly higher on a snowboard. And so I had to fight tooth and nail to get on that snowboard for the first time. And I wanted to snowboard because it reminded me of a balance beam. And if I could just have a sliver of my old life, like I felt like I could do anything. And that trip offered me that. I knew in the back of my head that I wanted to go to the Paralympics and win, but I tried to put on a face of like, no, I just want to go and qualify for in-state tuition for college and then snowboard through college. But in the back of my head, I knew what I was really going for. And I remember going back because at this time when I had learned to snowboard, I was still living in Louisiana. So I was traveling back and forth every now and then. And I remember being in Louisiana and telling my friends, I'm like, I'm gonna be a Paralympic snowboarder. And they're like, I don't know what you're drinking or smoking, girl, but like you live in Louisiana. I don't know what kind of snowboarder you're gonna be here. About a year later, I moved to Utah and started training with a snowboarding team, went to my first competition, like got on the podium, and it was just game on from there because I knew like, I got this and I'm gonna make it happen. From my first race, my first World Cup race, I got second place and I had tunnel vision for first from there on. And I won, I think my first race that season. It was on top of the world. I felt amazing. And then I got pregnant. I found out I was pregnant when I was 19, which is not when you want to find out that you're pregnant. I'm starting the height of my snowboarding career. Things are feeling really good, and now I'm being told like, this is your end. That's how it felt. And I found out when I was 5 months pregnant. So I didn't have all this time to prepare. It was like, oh my gosh, I have 4 months. Like, what the F am I gonna do? At the time, snowboarding wasn't even in my mind. I was trying to like figure out my life. Like, how am I going to bring this child into the world and raise it and like survive, much less thrive? Like, I wasn't even thinking about that at the time. As I got closer to the end of my pregnancy and emotions kind of let go, I realized, okay, I can do this. I have support from my family. Like, we can figure this out. the baby's father was in my life. So I was like, okay, we can figure this out. I was getting ready to give birth, and I remember sitting down talking to my mom, and I'm like crying because I'm like, I feel like this is like cancer all over again with gymnastics. Like, I feel like I'm losing something that I love and I've put my heart and soul into, and it's just gone. And my mom looked at me and she's like, that's not true. You might not have seen a mother athlete, like you may not see it all the time, but that doesn't mean that you can't do it. There are so many women who are professionals that are moms. And she's like, why can't you do that? And then she reminded me, she was like, Brenna, do you remember why you even got into sport in the first place? Do you remember like what you told me? And I was like, well, I wanna show people that have gone through disability and cancer at a young age that it doesn't matter what your life looks like, but you can keep going and have the life that you want. It just may be different. And she's like, why can't you show that for your daughter? She's like, you have us, you have a support system. Why can't you be that for her too? And that was when I realized, like, this is different. I do have power in this and I can keep going. And I decided, like right then and there, if I was going to do this, if I was going to leave my baby at home, I was gonna walk away with 2 gold medals. Like, full stop, no questions asked.
What do you mean? You good? You got it? I can't really help you from here. So you... What you want?
Jump.
Jump? I'm not on that side to catch you.
What?
Wait. It didn't even count. Okay. Okay. 1, 2, 3. What?
So when I had Lila, we were not in the best place financially. I was young, I had just started my career, so we couldn't afford childcare. So my husband and I switched off. I also was still working jobs on top of my snowboarding. So I would wake up in the morning, I would go snowboarding, and then I would come home, and then I'd switch off with my husband. When I look back on that, I'm like, how did we do it? And how did we do it to the point that I was able to get gold medals? Like, I didn't have sponsors. I didn't have like support outside of my family, yet we did it on the biggest stage where I freaking won. It was a we, like we won, like we did that, we got there. Obviously, being a mom with a disability is a little different because kids notice that, hey, your mom's different. And Lila will just bring kids to me because I think she picks up on it. And she'll be like, this is my mom, she lost her leg to cancer and she has 1 leg. Isn't it pretty cool? And then the kids will be like, yeah. And then they run off and go play. Lila, she'll tell people, my mom's an American. But what she means is a Paralympian, and it is so cute. She's so proud. She doesn't know what it means. She knows that I snowboard. She knows that mommy has to go on trips for work, and she knows that mommy is an American/Paralympian. But honestly, like, when it comes down to it, I'm embarrassing. Like, I embarrass my kids. Stop, go come next to me. I'm social distancing, SIX, 6 feet away. She will let me know when I'm being embarrassing. So I'm not the coolest thing ever to these kids. They're like, you're just mom and you do these things, but like at the end of the day, you're mom. She's like, I don't really care about your snowboarding, just come color with me. I start my days at 4:50 in the morning. I get up, I have my pre-workout. I train from 5:30 to 6:30 in the morning. I come home. I usually like to do like a quick 15-minute meditation just to get ready for my day. And then it's game on. I get my kids up, breakfast, get them ready for school, pack lunches, and get them out the door. And then from there, I have from about 9 until 3, where I try to get everything I can done in my off season. So that's like emails, school, whatever I'm dealing with, social media, like that is my time. And then I pick my kids up at 3. Lila does swimming and gymnastics. We go to the park. We try to get some outside time. And then it's dinner, bath, bedtime.
Like Look at this.
Yeah. Woohoo! Say Lila, say wee.
Look at me.
Nice work, Mila.
I'm beyond impressed.
Buckled.
Oh, girl, you need to get buckled.
I am.
Okay. We'll go when you're buckled.
You left when I wasn't doing buckle.
I didn't know. Are you buckled?
Nope. Just one more click to go.
Okay. You excited to go back to school today?
Yeah.
No.
I hate technology time. I love it actually.
I was like, I think that's not true. I think you like when you get to read on your iPad.
It's not an iPad.
Well, what is it?
You're on a computer.
On my computer.
Yeah. You're on a computer. It's not like I can just wander in.
I know, but I'm gonna go with you.
Why?
Because I want to. Hello, good morning. So Lila came with me to the Paralympics. Honestly, if she weren't there, I don't know if I would have won gold medals. I mentally choked at the games. I had put so much pressure on myself to get these gold medals. I could not pull a run together to save my life. I was not in the lead at all, ever, until the last 2 races. And in the start gate, I thought back to like why I started this whole journey to begin with and why I went back to sport. And I thought about my baby girl at the bottom of the finish line, and I was like, this is for Lila. This has always been for Lila. And I let go and I won, which is really cool. And I came down and I hugged my baby. Like, it was really special. I think my advice for parents is don't lose yourself. You're still a person, you still have goals, aspirations, you wanna go places and do things. Like, you don't have to give it all up for your children. Take them with you.